New crew, welcome back. For anyone who is new, my name is Cassandra and today we're meal prepping. It's going to be a really easy, quick meal prep. I'm only prepping a couple of things. I've got some Crustable sandwiches I want to make, some freezer sandwiches just for convenience, and then I've got these pizza bagels up here. I'm going to show you guys how we make those as well. But it's going to be really quick, really simple. I'm shooting to keep it under 20 minutes so I can do all my prepping and clean it all up before the baby wakes up, and maybe eat some of these pizza bagels along the way. Yes, because I'm hungry. But let's go ahead, I'll hop in, I'll show you guys everything I'm doing, how I'm gonna prep them and get them ready for the freezer, all of those things. So let's just go ahead and hop in. Alrighty, you guys, all you're gonna need for this are bagels, some marinara sauce of choice, and of course your cheese and toppings of choice. Pretty easy. I'm just separating my bagels, laying them out on a sheet pan, topping them with the marinara sauce, and topping them with my cheese and my toppings. I already had chopped up bell pepper and onions from homemade pizzas we did a handful of days earlier, so I just threw those on top of some of these. Had pepperoni. Actually every single item for this meal is from Aldi, so it's really cost efficient and it's super easy. And meal prepping these makes them even easier to go ahead and do. I'm sure my kids are like most kids, where if they could eat pizza bagels every day of their life, they would. So moving forward this summer, I think I'm going to make probably like 50 or 60 of these at a time and just hopefully stack my freezer full of these things, because me and my husband also really like these, which is kind of terrible, but I mean, they're so good. Who doesn't love a pizza bagel? Let's be honest. But I'm throwing these in the oven at 350 until they're done. I'm throwing my second pan of pizzas in the oven here. I set my oven to 350. That way it's pretty neutral for anything I'm cooking. And I just cook it either a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, just depending on what I'm cooking, because I'm gonna do some sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches, hopefully if I have time, but if not, those might get the boot. But mini pizzas need to go in first because we sit at the park a little bit longer than I intended and we all need to eat. So pizzas are gonna go in first. Whatever we don't eat for lunch today, I'm just gonna freeze and we'll have them at a later date. They'll be a great park lunch if I want to bring them to the park, or we'll just save them for whenever. When I don't feel like cooking, I can just throw them out of the freezer, either pop them in the microwave or they'll go right in the oven like a typical frozen pizza. A couple minutes and it'll be good to go. So I did a whole bag of bagels, so I don't even know how many, probably like 10 or 12, probably 12 bagel pizzas ready to go. Honestly, we'll probably go through about half of that, if not a little bit more for lunch today. But I'm gonna step up and start doing, I think, some crustables, some homemade crustables. So let's do that quick. Base of my sandwiches are gonna be peanut butter, at least for the time being. Other options, of course, grape jelly, Nutella, you could do honey. I've got some strawberry jam that we canned last year, and then, hang on, I'm gonna cover up the address here. But we've got this apple jelly that we got from a local, like a local flea market, I guess, but we have some apple jelly that is also an option. And we're gonna do the same thing here. And of course, apple butter would also be really, really good in these as well. So I'm just gonna keep those turned so you don't see the address, but that's what I'm stuffing with. You can also do meat and cheese in these. I did pull out meat and cheese from my freezer. I just don't know if I'm gonna have the time. I'm fitting all this in during nap time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start whipping these sandwiches out. And I've never made these in bulk before, so I'm gonna kind of play around and see what is the most efficient way to get these done. But your bread of choice, I'm using honey wheat. That's what we really like. But another thing you could do with these is you could make a ton of stuffed sandwiches with like peanut butter and fluff, or even peanut butter jelly, and then you can make French toast out of it. That would be really, really good. Or you could fry them. Lots of different options with these Crustable makers. But I'm just gonna go ahead and start laying out this bread here. We will get started with the Crustable maker. I think I'm gonna use just the circle. That's the one that my kids seem to like the most, or the square. So I think that's what I'm gonna stick to today. They also come in different sizes, so you can see you have a small and a larger size. I use the larger size because it prevents less waste. And then if you're wondering what's gonna happen with all of the crusts, I'm gonna have some very happy laying hens because they're gonna get all my bread scraps. So they'll be very happy, nothing's going to waste here. My chickens are gonna get them and everybody wins. So hands down, the easiest way to do this was to lay out the bread like I have here. And since peanut butter was the base, I just went ahead and loaded every single piece with peanut butter and then whatever secondary topping. I made these two right away because my kids saw the Crustable makers and they're like, Mom, I want a sandwich. So that's how that went. But I will bring you guys in closer here right now to show you guys how the Crustable works. So there are two separate rings. The first ring is the cookie cutter type thing. The second ring you see me putting in is the sealer. So first I'm going to take that cookie cutter ring, cut that out, and then take the sealer and place it inside the cookie cutter and just press down on the sealer portion. And of course, if it wasn't quite sealed all the way or I had leaks, I would go back and kind of repress out the sealer portion. It's really simple. It doesn't really take a whole lot of practice. My kids make these by themselves sometimes, but I went ahead and decided to wrap these in tin foil so that I could individually label them. So it wasn't like, Mom, I wanted a peanut butter and Nutella sandwich and I got a peanut butter and grape jelly sandwich. I don't want to eat this. Well, sucks to suck. I'm just going to wrap them individually so none of that happens because I'm not trying to have to eat 604 of these sandwiches a day because my kids took one bite of a sandwich that they didn't want. So that is why they're individually wrapped, but I'm just going ahead and doing the same thing, and now I'm doing jelly, and I made a whole loaf of bread, which made 10 Crustable sandwiches. So next month, I think what I'm going to do, because in my Walmart grocery order, they only let me pick up 6 loaves of bread at a time. So I think I'm going to do that, but that's what we use normally in a month, so then I think I'm going to go to Aldi and buy another 6 or 7 loaves and just make all of those loaves these Crustable sandwiches because, truth be told, my husband likes to steal these and put them in his lunch as well. I mean, who doesn't like a good Crustable? But I'm going to go ahead and make a ton of these bad boys next month and hopefully stock up because, truth be heard, I made these yesterday and it's the next morning I'm editing this video. I have 1 sandwich left out of 10. So I guess it is what it is. You also don't need the Crustable makers at all to be able to make a ton of these at a time and throw them in your freezer or in your fridge, whatever. You can definitely just make regular sandwiches, meat and cheese or peanut butter and jelly, any of the fixings we talked about, and just go ahead and freeze them and eat regular old sandwiches. They're just something fun, and we bought them off Amazon honestly like a year and a half ago, and we never used them. And then when I cleaned out my kitchen, I found them up in this cabinet here that never gets open, and I pulled them out, put them in a different cabinet so they were more accessible so we could use them more. So this is me just trying to get my use out of it. It's something fun. My kids just like it, so that's that. But you could definitely do regular sandwiches out of loaves of bread like we have here, or you could even do English muffins. You could do bagels if you want them to be a little bit more hearty, especially if you're going to the beach and you have even younger kids, older kids, you, your husband, whoever. Swimming burns so many calories. You are so hungry, so beef up your bread. You could do brioche. You could get big, those, I get this bag from Walmart. It's 36 6-inch sub rolls for like, it's under $4, and you could make 36 sandwiches, throw them in the freezer and pull them out as needed, and you would be good to go. You're also perfect to put on mayo, butter, what else, like mustard, whatever you like on your sandwich. Go ahead and load that up, throw it right in the freezer, and you'll be good to go. I wouldn't load any vegetables on it though, because they could get a little hairy, especially if they're a vegetable that soaks up a lot of that moisture, like mushrooms or something. When they defrost, they're gonna let out all of that water, and then your bread's gonna soak it up and you'll have a soggy sandwich. So I would stay clear of the veggies. I would stick more to like meats and cheeses, and I would just do a deli sandwich maybe with like pepperoni, ham, turkey, whatever kind of meats. Just load that thing up, slap it with a little bit of mayo, and throw it in the freezer. You'll be good to go. But this was a really quick, like 30-minute meal prep, and I'm very happy with it. I would have really loved to do some corn dogs. I just don't have any hot dogs. My kids blew through them this last month, so I'm gonna do another one of these exact videos, a meal prep for kids lunches, and I'm gonna share that recipe as well. But for now, this is just a really quick and easy meal prep. I'll show you guys me packaging up these pizza bagels here. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna wrap them up in tin foil and kind of slide them in a Ziploc bag, label them, throw them in the freezer, but I'm gonna let these cool. We're gonna finish eating, but a really quick, easy meal prep for today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you want to check any of my other meal prep videos, I'll link a whole playlist down below. And of course, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye. Our bagel pizzas came out. Here they are. The reason I pulled these bagels out of my freezer is because they were starting to get freezer burnt. They were not holding up very well in my freezer for, if I would have left them in there another 2 or 3 weeks, I think they would have been pretty gross. So that's why we made bagel pizzas today. I shared these in an all Aldi video I did. I think my kids' lunch ideas one. Here are my pizza bagels ready to go in the deep freezer. I decided not to wrap them in the tin foil because I don't think these are going to be in my freezer that long. Honestly, I think they'll be in there maybe at most probably 2 weeks. My kids eat these multiple times a week for lunch. If I had been more prepared, what I would have done is done a layer of pizza bagels and then a layer of parchment paper and then another layer of pizza bagels. However, I don't have any parchment paper, or I could have wrapped them individually in the parchment paper. This is just going to make it more difficult for me when I pull them out of the freezer to peel them individually. So if you're looking to put at max capacity in your Ziploc bag, say your Ziploc bag can fit 12 pizza bagels, if you're looking to fit all 12 in there and be able to only pull out 2 or 3 at a time, you're definitely going to want to use the parchment paper. But for me, what I'll probably do is just pull this whole bag out of the freezer, probably the day we want to use it or the day before I want to use it, and I'll de-thaw it. I'll put it in the fridge or something overnight, and then we'll just eat these 2 days that week or until they're gone. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to throw these right in my freezer. I like to throw them in my freezer just attached to my fridge first. That way they're hard, and when I go throw them in my deep freezer, if something shifts or gets knocked around, it's not like my half frozen pizza bagels are going to be smushed. So I'll leave these in here for a couple hours, and then I'll either go put them down in my chest freezer, or we'll just eat them before they ever have a chance to make it down there, which is probably the most likely. I did the same thing with my Crustable sandwiches. They're in here, so I have a bag of bagels and a bag of the Crustables in here. Pretty easy meal prep, and holy schmoly, if I say bag one more time, I can tell right now I'm gonna have 100 comments talking about how Midwestern my accent is. So let's just say it again together, shall we? Bag.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low.